Welcome to the College Football X with your hosts, John Nelson and John Wilkerson.
Welcome to another round of the College Football X here at OSG Sports. We tackle things in the midweek, and our leadoff hitter this week, we take you to Division II. And a story that you might not necessarily know about, the gentleman off to my side here, as you're reviewing things, if you're watching on the video side, top 5, depending on the poll, in Division II right now, University of West Florida. Time to catch up with Kaleb Nobles, the head coach of the Argos. Coach, great to see you, my friend. It's been a while.
Thank you. Great to see you, John, and a lot of love to you, man. A lot of things you've done for our family over the years, and good to get on here and talk to some football and with some Georgia people, but very excited to be on here. Thank you for having me.
All right, so when you came into this season, what were the expectation levels down there in Pensacola for the program? Was it to be top 5 in the polls at week 4, week 5? What were you looking to do this season?
Yeah, just win. Win as many of them as you can is always the expectation. The goal around here is, to win and play at a high level. We've, played for a national championship twice in the history of our program since 2016 and have won a national championship one time. So goals are high, goals are lofty as they should be. If you don't want your goals to be high or lofty, then you shouldn't be coaching college football. So we love it, right? Our goal was to be great. I knew, kind of feel like we have a good team coming into fall camp and a lot of new additions that we thought were going to help us. We had a lot of guys go through spring football that were still here that didn't leave and transfer out. So, a lot of continuity from last year's roster with some good additions. So excited about that, excited about how our guys are playing, and we know we got a long season ahead of us, so we got to keep continue to grow.
When you mention the schedule, you start things off with a nationally ranked team, and with the Gulf South only having 4 competitive members, how difficult is it to complete a schedule, still be competitive, still get viewed at by the folks that put the polls together? How difficult and delicate a balance is this?
Yeah, I think it, to go back to our success that we have had early in the program with Coach Shinnick, the previous head coach, and then myself coming here. When you're successful early in your start, and we haven't even been playing 10 years, it does make it more difficult to schedule games outside of your conference opponents. And then you throw in the fact that we do only have 3 other teams, that play football in our conference. It's not an easy thing to do to schedule. I'll give a lot of our credit to Dave Scott, our athletic director. Him and myself have kind of combined to sign a lot of these games the last 2 years to schedule a Lenore Ryan, to schedule teams out of conference. There's a lot of teams that were in our conference that have moved to another conference or transitioned somewhere else that they still are okay playing us and want to play us. So it's helped a little bit, but I mean, having only 3 conference teams is not easy to do. So it makes it where you have to get on a plane or get on a bus and go play some other people that your fans may not be familiar with, but it helps prepare you for the long run, which is what we tried to do with some of these early games we played.
What has it been like to see this program grow and evolve to where it is at a decade in? You and I have been around 10-year-olds before. We know that they can be kind of precocious and they can be running up and down the halls and all that kind of stuff. What's it been like to see this program build to where it is to have that kind of a reputation?
Yeah, it's been a great journey. It's been interesting, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters of things. We started playing football here in 2016, and I've got a unique perspective on it because I was on the first team. I was the first quarterback here. My joke to everybody is I'm also probably the worst quarterback to play here too. We've had some good ones come through. So I wish that was actually a joke. It's probably pretty true. But we've been on a heck of a roller coaster of things. I mean, I've been on part of it for every year but 2 years. And so to see this, outside my office is our practice field and game field. And when I came on a visit here in December of 15, there was trees growing right here, right? So now it's sitting in a building that wasn't here, looking at a field that wasn't here. So it's pretty surreal to be a part of, and it's been a very exciting journey, a very fun journey to be a part of. Our guys have really bought into what we're trying to do in this program since we started the program with a lot of, when we started recruiting and getting first teams, and we had some young guys who had never touched a college football field at all, right, to play. So we've done it with some young guys and obviously in a different, era of the program now, but it's been very, very fun to be a part of this journey so far.
Right now you're at 4-0. You got the win against Lenore Ryan at Penn Air. Then you go to Kentucky Wesleyan. Then you beat Shorter. Then you beat North Greenville up there in Tigerville. And now you're coming out of the bye week. Where do you think you are right now after these first 4 weeks as a team? when it comes to what do you think you still need to work on? Where are you when it comes to getting to full song right now? Even though you are top 5 in 2 separate polls, where are you at 4-0?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think, looking on from the outside, people probably see certain things, and I see a whole different perspective, looking on the inside. I'm excited about, how our guys have played. We've had some, some interesting games along the journey. Lenore Ryan's a really good team, and we got up hot on them. We've done a great job of starting games hot. I don't know what it is now, but before our North Greenville game, we were outscoring, I think, teams in the first quarter, I think 50-6. So we've started hot, right? We've got to do a better job of maintaining that heat, through the second quarter and third quarter, and then just sustaining to finish is a big thing we've talked about, and having consistency through the whole game, right? Not just first quarter. Everybody's going to come out and play hot, but it's the team that can weather the storms, weather the emotions of a game, and get into the second, third quarter. Is something that we've talked about as a team, in our team meetings to prepare for the future schedule. And our schedule's not going to get any easier. I know we talk about 3 teams in our conference left, but the other 3 teams, all 4 of the teams really have made the playoffs at least once in the last 2 seasons. So there's 4 of us left, and there's 4 really good teams that all could probably have a chance to make the playoffs every single year. So, we've got an interesting road ahead, but our guys have grown, and they're doing a lot of really good things right now.
West Alabama and Delta also ranked in top 20s, depending on the poll. Valdosta State's just kind of lurking there. The other 3 members right now in the Gulf. But Marcus Stokes out of the blocks. I don't know how folks do like quarterback ratings and everything, but when you've got a quarterback rating of 159.59, I think that's good. And he's completing about 60% of his passes, 10 TDs on the season. As the guy who's the fulcrum of that offense, how would you rate what he's been able to do in the first 4 games to help the offense go?
Yeah, I mean, for everybody picture, I mean, his performance has been great. He's done a lot of really good things. He started almost every game as a redshirt freshman last year, and took some lumps, right? Took some freshman mistakes, but he's done an elite job of learning from those things, taking the film study we've done in the offseason to get himself prepared. He's seeing the defenses really well. He's doing a great job of taking what the defense gives him. Obviously, he's not played perfect, and he's got to clean it up a little bit on some certain things. But a big thing that he's also done is really stepped up as a leader, a vocal leader, because he's had a unique path to get here, a unique path while he's been here. So for him, he's just been great about just using his voice in a good manner, being a really good vocal leader for us. He was voted the team captain, as a redshirt sophomore. So something that has been great for our team is him using his voice more, and his play has certainly merited the ability to do that.
15 different receivers, if my math is right, that have caught passes this season for you offensively. Obviously, that speaks to A, the depth in your offense, and B, how you want to make your opposition sit there and not just lock in on 1 or 2 dudes. They've got to lock in on basically 10 to a dozen different guys on any given week.
Yeah, no, for sure. And our guys have done a good job of getting open, right? Finding the ability to get open is something that's not easy to do. But then our quarterbacks have done a good job of, like I said, trying to take what they give us. And then, we've really have complimented our wide receivers well. Wide receivers have played great, but our tight ends and our running backs have done a good job of catching the football out of the backfield. So we've tried to balance it out as much as we can to not give the ability to just key in on one guy. And our guys have really bought into that, and it's showing on the field.
When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, you're getting pressure on the quarterback right now. I think it's a dozen different dudes that have at least registered a half a sack so far when it comes to pressuring and making sure that that offense and that hot start gets to stick over a full 4 quarters. When I want to talk about your defense, who would folks naturally gravitate toward when they walk in the door for the first time here in 25?
Yeah, I mean, we got some really good defense linemen. Juice Williams, number 7 for us, has been great. Kevin Roberts, number 5, has been really good. We got a lot of really good defense linemen and box players. Linebackers have been really good. All 3 of our linebackers starting are seniors right now. Our nickel is a guy named Warren Conway. He's actually a Georgia guy, so he's playing really well. Our Mike and Will, Walker Robinson, Jacoby Clinton are playing very, very well. They both have had multiple games of 8 to 9, 10 plus tackles a game. If I'm not mistaken, I think our defense is leading the country in rushing yards per game on the Division II level, and I think on a couple different levels. So our defensive staff, Coach Connor, and our whole defense staff done an elite job of preparation to get these guys ready. And I tell the D-line almost every day, I mean, people are not going to win if they don't run the ball on us and you get the quarterback, get to him. So if you can do those two things on the college football level, stop the run and affect the quarterback with good, pass rush integrity, you got a chance to win games. So, and they've done a good job of giving us some sudden change opportunities on offense that make it a lot easier to score on a shorter field as well.
Did you want the bye week right now? I mean, because you're in between the North Greenville game back on the 20th, getting ready to find a way to Tahlequah, Oklahoma. I guess you're leaving maybe after we finish this interview to get from Pensacola to Tahlequah. Did you want the bye week now? I mean, are you cool with it right now? I know obviously it's scheduled this way, but you're on that road where you were 4-0, you're hitting momentum, you're outscoring folks, you got a big win at North Greenville. Was this a good time for the bye week, I guess is the best way to phrase it?
Yes, it really is. And if you look at our schedule, down the line, we have another bye week before the last regular season game versus Valdosta. So our schedule sets up pretty good to go 4 games bye week, and then we got another 5 games, then a bye week, and then one more game after that. So it works out good for us. The Oklahoma trip's a really long trip. We're leaving on Thursday after practice, which is not the norm. So driving almost halfway, a little bit more than the halfway, and then drive the rest of the way. So it's a perfect time for us, to be honest, a great chance to recover, which our guys did that over the bye week, and then be ready to play at an elite level for these next 5 games.
For someone who hasn't seen Division II football, they may be locked into their Division I, their FBS, and I would say 1AA because for me to say FCS actually takes some thought. For someone who hasn't seen Division II football, what are they missing out on by not including that in their watching habits for a college football Saturday?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. They're missing some really good football players and some good teams, some good programs. I think that you're starting to see a lot of Division II players that are coming in. It's a catch-22 because they're coming in as really good high school players that might have gotten overlooked because some of these D1s or FCSs are signing more transfers, right, than high school kids. So it's given us, right, the lower level people a chance to sign really good high school talent that may not have come here 5 to 8 years ago. So you're missing a lot of really good football players. On the back end of that, some of those guys are transferring up to go play on that Division I level. I think for us, we have off our roster last year, we have over 6 or 7 guys that transferred to Division I's that are playing, right, and registering stats. So the football players have not gotten any worse on this level or any better, right? Either way, they're just getting more notoriety when they do transfer up. So you got starting quarterback at Ole Miss as a D2 transfer. So I think it's nothing new to people who know the Division II game that there's really good football on this level and a lot of players that can play on any level, but now they're getting more public because of the transfer portal. But I think if you want to watch some good football and some guys that really care about football and really just love the game because there's not as much NIL stuff down here, watch Division II, and you would be shocked at how little of a gap there is between the talent level between Division I and Division II.
Out of the blocks at 4-0, ranked number 3 in the AFCA Division II poll behind Ferris State, who got all of the first-place votes, and Harding, and ahead of Kutztown and Angelo State is West Florida, right there at number 3, getting ready for a trip to Tahlequah, Oklahoma to take on Northeastern State. Kaleb, my friend, it's always great to see you, great to check in. Love what you're doing down there at UWF, and you know that we're going to be knocking on your door and following what's going on there in Division II. Be safe, my friend. Have a great game, and we will catch up with you soon. Have a great run here in 2025.
Thanks for having me, John. Go Argos.
When we come back, we'll find out what else is going on here in the midweek. College Football X continues after this. Welcome back, B Block, here in the midweek, and it's time to dial up my old friend Tom Block because it is that week where one of those weeks where those of us who, full disclosure, wear garnet and gold, draw allergies and get hives about anything having to discuss things about orange and green and the University of Coral Gables and all points in between. So how are you preparing for this experience, sir?
I don't really break out in the hive so much anymore. Maybe it's father time, John, but the ones that still keep me up at night would be the ones from when we were in school, when these teams were both on top. The stakes haven't been as high for a while, though this week they're higher than they've been in, 10 years or so. But yeah, the ones from the early 90s, late 80s, those are the ones that, give me heartburn still to this day.
Yes, agita and the whole thing, and flashbacks and cold night sweats and the whole thing. And
Yeah.
the boss here, she fully understands that particular notion. All right, I'm going to go ahead and ask it. Can you name the appropriate kickers that give us the agita, dating all the way back to when we were in school?
Oh, well, Jerry Thomas, I guess, and Richie Andrews and Matt Munyon. Did I get the three? Is that the ones you're looking for?
Those, and Beitia, maybe. Was he involved in a wide?
Yeah, he was in 2002, and Derek Schmidt predates me a little bit in 87. He did make three in that game, but did he miss one? If memory serves?
Yeah. Derek Schmidt started the entire cascade, and so
this is not fun. Why'd you make me go down that road?
I'm preparing everybody for the experience. This is the agita that I go through every year.
Wait a minute. I said Richie Andrews. I think it was Dan Mowry, wasn't it, in 92?
So it was Danny Mowry. Then it was Mowry, Thomas, Beitia.
Yeah, well, Munyon was in 2000, and then Bethia. But Richie Andrews was he won the Punt Ruski game. So let's have, which was not Miami, but let's have some fun there. Right?
Yes, let's have some fun. And when you look at the evolution, see, now I call him Thomas because I covered him at Ware County High School, and I know that it's different now. But the evolution and the comfortability factor of Thomas Castellanos at quarterback, what have you seen this season as the season has grown along to this point?
Well, he certainly is a leader, and from the word go, when he set foot on campus, the guys have respected him. I would say he's thrown the ball better than I expected him to, based on what we saw at BC. We knew he could run the football, but I think he's been pretty good. Now, he's not perfect, but he's made enough winning plays every game for them to be unbeaten right now. And obviously, you could pick any one of however many plays were in last week's game against Virginia and change the outcome of it, and it changes the outcome of the game. But I think he's been good. He's been dynamic. He has a good rapport with Deuce Robinson. I don't think there's much to find fault with him. If I was going to find fault, it's not something he can control. He's not the tallest guy, right? And so we've seen a couple of passes get batted. Unfortunately, one of them that was picked off last week right at the goal line with FSU going in. That's one of the plays. If you change that, if that's incomplete, FSU probably scores there and they win the football game. So I think he's been good, and the team really respects him. He's clearly been the leader of the offense and the leader of the football team.
And when you have an offensive coordinator that is as half a bubble off plumb as Gus Malzahn is, how, when it comes to knowing that it could be anything coming out of his sleeve at any time in any formation, all this kind of stuff, it's not something that the Florida State folks, I think, are used to, short of maybe the Bobby Bowden days where you have the one occasional riverboat gambler play. You'd have a Ruski here, some kind of odd formation. What has it been like getting adjusted to the half boat crazy that you could see from Gus Malzahn at any given moment?
Well, if you recall, Florida State was not very good on offense a year ago,
True.
John. So seeing actual offense and the first down chain gang having to break a sweat, and who did they play 2 weeks ago? Kent State, the opening drive where they went tempo. I think it was like 4 or 5 plays. They scored 4 or 5 plays, 75 yards. 4 first downs. The chain gang wasn't set for any of them. I mean, they were just happy when it got to first and goal because they didn't have to bother to try and set up two of the markers, right? So, no, I think it's been fun. He's been so successful that there's not a lot to find fault with. There's been some questions about a couple of 1 4th down call in particular last week, but I don't get big into the hindsight game because it's easy for fans to revert to the touchdown play, call the successful play. I don't know. The 4th down call was a little curious, but without sitting down and knowing what they expected based on the personnel Virginia had on the field or what they were hoping to accomplish, it's hard to really second guess that. It's been successful. It's been fun.
How long has it taken, or are folks there in Tallahassee and everybody that's in your circle, are they lining up already? Did they push Virginia out of the way? Yeah, it happened. Yeah, we've got our beef points, but we pushed it out of the way. We're focusing on Coral Gables right now. Where's the mindset of the fans and the alums and everybody getting ready for a game this big?
Yeah. The Virginia thing got flushed pretty quickly. I think because Miami was next. And the reality is, I think even the most optimistic FSU fan probably said when they looked at the first 4 games of the schedule, okay, let's be 3-1 going to Miami. They just thought that the 3-1 would count Virginia and not count Alabama. So here they are, they're 3-1 going to Miami. if you beat Miami, everything's still alive. I don't know that I'd say Virginia will be forgiven because your wiggle room is gone the rest of the year, but people won't be thinking about it. If you lose to Miami and you're 3-2 with Pitt coming to town, then you're going to look back more at what could have been in Virginia. I think the reality is Virginia was a very veteran football team. The quarterback's 25. Everybody on that team is a 7th or 6th year starter. I mean, these are men playing against young men, if you will. It was on the road, and FSU knows this historically. Whatever it is, Thursday, Friday night, the ACC underdog is going to be revved up, and you can overcome that, but you can't overcome it if you make a bunch of mistakes, and that's what FSU did. They almost got away with it because they did right the ship in the second quarter, but then they let Virginia hang in there, in the middle eight, end of the second quarter, and start of the third, and so it was game on, and unfortunately, that's forever going to go down as a loss.
You look at Miami. I can't believe I just used the M word. You look at them. They come in at 4-0, and they can light up the scoreboard. They can clamp down on you. When you've gone into study hall getting ready for this one, what sticks out?
Well, I'm sure for Miami, they're built at the line of scrimmage under Mario, and their MO is going to be to run the football anyway. So I'm sure they watch what Virginia did, and they're thinking, okay, we're going to run the football, and we're going to have success. For me, I look at it and say this will be the best offense that Miami has faced this year. And so if you get into a track meet, if Mario wants to go 4 and 5 yards at a time and Florida State can hit some big plays, that's their key to success. I do think we'll see FSU do a better job against the run than what they did against Virginia. They talked a lot about being misaligned, and I don't think it was that they didn't have – I thought their effort was good. I thought their tackling was poor. And if you look at the fact they had a bye week and 2 exhibition games the week before where the starters played, 15 snaps on defense, 20 snaps.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't scrimmage. In hindsight, they probably would say we needed to be a little more physical in practice leading up to it. And I don't know how physical they were or weren't because practice is closed. But I think for FSU, their offense is going to score and the home crowd will give them energy. And I think it's going to be an electric night at Doak.
So when you look at both sides of the ball, I know that we're all gravitating toward the shiny objects, like a Thomas Castellanos, maybe an Usman Chroma for those of us that covered him when he was at Lee County, those kinds of things. Give me a foot soldier. Give me somebody like you and I would do the open. We sit there and we have the players to watch. How about somebody that wouldn't be in that TV open of players to watch for Florida State to be successful offensively and defensively?
Well, defensively, I'd say it's got to be somebody that's a linebacker, somebody in the front seven. They don't have a lot of stars up front once you get past Darrell Jackson, and he's going to be double teamed, triple teamed at times. So they need to be, they need to have their run fits. They need to be fundamentally sound there. So I'll say Juice Cryer. Juice Cryer would be one that I would say if he could have a big game, then I think Florida State's having some success defensively. Offensively, man, they've had so many different weapons. Tommy's going to be – so you have Roy Dell coming back at the running back position. So you're going to have a full stable of running backs. Deuce will be a marked man by Miami. Maybe the tight end. It's hard to say the tight end is low profile, but if you look at what they did with Randy Pittman, whatever his injury was, and I don't know what it was, but they got him through fall camp and they held on and got him into the Alabama game, which they had success. And then they immediately did some sort of procedure where they shut him down the next 2 weeks and the bye week. And then he comes back and he becomes the third guy in history to run for one, throw for one, and catch one. Now, I know they were, other than the catch, it was a 5-yard jump pass and a 2-yard run. But I think he's a guy that we haven't seen yet that could catch 6, 8 passes. He could do to Miami what Miami tight ends have done to FSU historically. And I don't think we've seen that yet this year from Pittman. So maybe he's the guy I would say on offense.
6 different receivers last week in the Virginia game. Pittman had 2 for 16. As we go into this particular game, what is and this is the Mount Rushmore question, so you can take it however deep you want. What is your favorite memory from this rivalry that has always stuck with you, either covering it or being on the sidelines or just watching it in a bar someplace?
Yeah, for me, it goes back to when we were in school. Maybe that's because that was the genesis of it for me. So both teams were the stakes were high. So the 89 game, FSU had not won a national title yet. Miami had won 2. Florida State couldn't get past the over the Miami hump, so to speak. 87, you remember, was the 1-point loss, 26-25.
Everybody knew they were going to double Pat Carter in the back of the end zone, man.
Not that you're bitter about it. 88, Florida State was preseason number 1. They thought they won the title by being preseason number 1. They wrote a rap song, promptly lost 31-0. So 89, here comes Miami. And that was the old Doak Campbell before it was renovated. For my money, it's one of the best, most electric crowds. I'd probably put it in the top 3 historically, top 5 of the home games I've been to, even though it was capacity 63,000 then. But anyway, getting to the point, Leroy Butler picks off Gino Torretta on the first play, and Dexter Carter scores a touchdown on the next play. And the crowd was frenzied all night, and FSU wins it 24-10, I think. And even though Gino wins the Heisman and Miami wins the national title, that one may be my favorite FSU Miami memory, that game right there.
What do you think about the closed-in Doak? What about the new renovations? What's your thoughts?
Well, the new renovation is not that it's closed in. That part didn't change so much. It's just all the suites on the sideline. I think it's really impressive. And when you stand on the visitors, so what they fixed or what they renovated was the home sideline, which is not the side you see on TV because the TV cameras are on the home sideline. So you're still staring at the visitors sideline other than when they're talking about the renovation. If you go stand on the visitors sideline and look, it really looks like a pro stadium. You see all these different seating levels, these suites. The ribbon boards are much lower now, so it looks like a pro stadium. Now, you're used to that in Atlanta with Mercedes-Benz, right? But, the ribbon boards were 79 rows up in Doak, and now they're eye level as you look across. It's just a much cleaner, more polished look. It looks big time. So I would say now you've got 3/4 of the stadium is where it needs to be, and you still have the visitors sideline, which is the original erector set that dates back to the 50s that they're going to weld and piece together, every 5 or 10 years at some point, and it won't be right now. They got to pay off what they just did, but at some point they'll fix that, and it'll be, as impressive as what the home side is now.
All right, cut the promo for me for folks that should listen. I'm not going to say have the opportunity to, but should listen to you on the sidelines and the call in general. Hit me.
All right, hit you. Well, the Seminole Game Day app's going to be the best. The FSU Game Day app's going to be the best way to find that. You can hear us on satellite radio as well. If you're in Tallahassee, 94.9 on the FM dial, that's going to be your best bet. We're on 2 hours before kick. The post-game runs however long it needs to run, depending on what unfolds in the 60 minutes of actual game time. But Jeff Colhane does a great job calling the action. William Barnum Floyd on the color. And I do the pre and some of the post from the locker room, and then am involved from the sideline.
So Florida State Game Day, Sidearm Sports, News and Magazine Sports. Is that the one?
I don't think that one's right. FSU Game Day app.
All right, well, hang on. All right, so I did Seminole Game Day, and I got that. So you're looking at FSU Game Day. That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, FSU Game Day.
FSU Game Day. So I hit search, and I get Florida State Game Day, Sidearm Sports contains ads. Think that's the one? Sounds like it? Maybe?
Perhaps it is. It's already, it's already on my phone. So.
And this is what happens when you're an Android guy and you're trying to download it. So, okay,
yeah.
It's downloading, and we'll listen. And not like we always don't listen anyway, because you. As always, my friend, it's great to see you, and it's great to talk about things. And I know that the boss here is going to sit there and try and control all the remotes just so she can hear me cuss for an entire game as Florida State takes on the folks from the University of Coral Gables. My friend, great to see you, and thanks for hanging out in the midweek.
You bet. Thanks for the invite.
All right, we come back, football on a budget. We know that Florida State and Coral Gables ain't that. More after this. As always, thanks to Kaleb Nobles, the head coach at the University of West Florida, ranked number 3 in the standings in Division II, heading into this weekend in a big road trip to Tahlequah, Oklahoma. And always great to catch up with my friend Tom Block, who's going to be patrolling the sidelines and gets to see Florida State University football close up on the Seminole Network. And it's always great to catch up with all of them and see them and find out what's going on around college football in their spheres. Now, since it is the C block, that means one thing. It's where we tour the planet, look at the schedule, sit there and think, what can we get into for the price of one of these? It's time for football on a budget. And we go to the schedule, and once again, we look at the upcoming schedule in college football. The marker is $10. We might expand it a little bit if there aren't a whole lot of games that would match that particular number, but that is where we would like to set the bar So you can go in and check all of the different places that have college football on a weekly basis and find out what's going on. So let's start with football on a budget. We'll start it off Friday night. San Jose State hosting New Mexico State on FS1. That one's at 10 o'clock at CEFCU Stadium in San Jose. Basically, the juice box purveyors are just like, yeah, well, whatever. It's a toss-up. San Jose State's at 2.5. Your total 57.5. The Lobos on the road with our friend Robert Portnoy. Tickets get in $9. Big matchup out west. You get a ding for that one. And so that gets us started on Friday the 3rd. You got a couple that are close. BC at Pitt at noon at Acrisure for $14. Pitt 6.5, 57.5. We're not so Acrisure considering that we've already Acra been there this year. Keep an eye on that one. Kansas State and Baylor. Baylor 6.5, 61.5. We'll grandfather this one in. McLean Stadium for $11. Noon on the plus. Definitely. That's a ding right there. So go to Waco, Texas. Get in for $11 at McLean. Also on the board, 14. Might be the last, and we're grandfathering this one in because of the plot line. Might be the last game for Trent Dilfer as head coach at UAB. If he loses to Army, Army is 6.5, visiting Protective. Your total's 58.5 for the plot line. It gets a ding, even though it's probably more like drinking a dog for 14 on the get in. UTSA at Temple at the Link, $7. Texas San Antonio is 6.5. Your total 58.5. Sure thing. Why not? We'll see what goes on there. Can Texas San Antonio get a win on the road at the Link? If you haven't been, go. If you have been, spread the word for others that they can get in the door for $7 at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Oklahoma State and Arizona for the price of a drink and a dog, $14. We'll grandfather that one in. Arizona at 20.5 against a struggling Oklahoma State side. And now that they have jettisoned their head coach, they've got an interim. They've jettisoned other coaches. It will be intriguing to see how Oklahoma State stacks up at 3 o'clock on TNT True and HBO Max for $14. Take Arizona. And if you've got drinking a dog in you, if you don't eat, you don't tailgate, you go in for 14, that gets a ding for you. Vandy and Alabama does not qualify for football on a budget. Get-in price, by the way, for Bama, who's a 10.5-point favorite, $124. Also on the board, another $14 get-in for drinking a dog. Texas State and Arkansas State. Texas State a 2-touchdown favorite, 13.5. Your total 63.5. Centennial Bank Stadium, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Drinking a dog on the U at 4 o'clock Eastern. Ding, why not? Also on the board, definitely not football on a budget. The Lowdown Dirty Cheaters at the University of Coral Gables, number 3, visiting number 18. Florida State at Doak. Miami 4.5. 54.5 is the total get-in price of $281. That definitely does not qualify for football on a budget. Drinking a dog, FBC Mortgage Stadium in Orlando, 7:30 on the Deuce. Kansas and UCF, take the over at 53.5. Kansas is a 5.5-point favorite. I'll say for drinking a dog, if you're in Central Florida, just beware of the showers. So that's a ding to get in on that one. That's your Division I, your FBSers that are footballs on budgets. Also on the board, let's see if there's anybody in FCS that would fit. I'm scrolling. Aha! If you have not been to the Dakota Dome in Vermilion, South Dakota, 3 o'clock, 1AA action, Murray State, South Dakota. It's on the plus, $10, Dakota Dome. Ding, get in the door. Go see something at the Dakota Dome. It'll be an experience for you that you can recall and share with others. That is it for football on a budget in 1AA. Let's see if anybody has posted anything in Division II and Division III. And the answer is a couple are posted. Payson New Haven is posted. Savannah State, South Carolina State is posted in Orangeburg, South Carolina. It is not football on a budget, but when you think of the halftime entertainment and the in-game entertainment, you know why it's $64 at Oliver C. Dawson as Savannah State takes on South Carolina State. If you haven't been and you want to sample the bands, ding, go for it. It is not football on a budget, but it is definitely football worth enjoying and entertaining as Savannah State travels to take on the Bulldogs in Orangeburg for $64. All right, here's our PSA. If there is an opportunity for your school to be a part of football on a budget and you are in the lower divisions, if you're Division II, Division III, NAIA, JUCO, doesn't matter. Let us know that it's football on a budget. Let us know what the price tag is. Reach out to us on social media at OSG Sports. I'm at OSG Nelson. You've got OSG Phil, OSG Wilkie, OSG J-Dub, all of us. And Big Marty as well. Let us know. Let us share football on a budget with the rest of humanity. Let us know on our social media before the game starts, and we can share experiences when it comes to college football. That is another go-round of the midweek show, the College Football X for Wilkie, who is he is saving humanity. For Kaleb Nobles, the head coach at West Florida. For Tom Block, sidelines and hosting and everything at Florida State University. And for all of us here at OSG Sports, I'm just John. Thanks for dropping by. It's another go-round of the X. We'll see you on the weekend for the review. What did we say that came true? We'll find out soon enough. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy your game.